Well, welcome everyone. Seems like we're a small group today, but small but mighty. So we are chugging right ahead on what we are working on. We are moving at a good speed. So today we are working on we were going to do the blessings, La Sok B'divrei, and the blessings. Hold on a minute. Got to get to that page. Just because I was on that page, not in present mode, now you have to go to it. Oh,
there it goes.
There it is. So I can honestly say that I didn't even know this blessing until my kids were in what our synagogue used to call junior congregation. And our ed director taught it. I didn't know it. It's not something our synagogue says aloud. But it is something you say before you study Torah, which seems like we should say it during Makom B'Yachad, but so
yeah, we say it before the rabbi's classes. When the rabbi does lunch and learn, he always says, we say this prayer.
Very nice. Berachot HaTorah.
We say it after one of the rabbi's classes as well. That's the only time I ever know of our saying it, though.
And I don't normally take classes with the rabbi because so haven't had a chance. So
not a Hebrew class, obviously.
Yeah.
We say it on Shabbat services before we study Torah, before we do the Torah readings. And
I don't think we
What page is it on in Lev Shalem, Debbie, do you know?
I should give me a second because I had to give this part out to our brotherhood.
It's on 107.
Yeah, 107. Very good job, Carol Ann.
We say it to him.
The rabbi told me that. I found it.
So is there somebody who would like to read this blessing for us?
I will.
Thank you, Carol Ann.
Let's see if I remember. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav bazuno.
I'm just going to say asher kichanu b'mitzvotav
Vitzivanu.
Vanu, you got it.
Lahazak. Lahasok. Beret. Beret. Bidivrei. Torah.
Nice job. And
Debbie,
yes,
what's the very first word at the top? Yeah, that word.
Birachot, which is multiple, plural of blessings.
Okay.
HaTorah.
Thank you.
So I learned that I actually learned to sing this, but now I'm trying to remember what the tune is. They only remember the last part. La'asok b'divrei Torah, Torah. La'asok b'divrei Torah. But I can't remember. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. But I don't know how the rest. I just know La'asok b'divrei Torah, Torah. La'asok b'divrei Torah. Does anyone else want to take a turn to read it?
No, but I have a question.
Okay, Holly.
Right. So the first word, Birakot, is 3 syllables because the resh is sounded. But on the second line, the Kitshanu, you run together the kuf and the dalet to make 1 sound.
I'm looking for Vikitshanu.
the second. word.
Kidashanu.
So you
Okay.
pronounce the Dalet?
Well,
To make it-
because, yeah, birachot, you're supposed to say Kiddishanu, but when you say it quickly, Asher Kiddishanu, it comes out Kidshanu, but it is officially Kiddishanu.
Okay,
Now,
Thank
there's a rule about if there's two vowels, you don't have to give the pause. I've not heard that rule, but someone pointed out. So it could be Kidshanu, but here, there's not a vowel under the chet, under the chaf for birachot. So I think you can say birachot, but we say birchot. It's just, if you're going to get technical about it, like, do we say friendship? You know, enunciating all the sounds, we say friendship, and that it kind of, the end kind of glosses along. It's the same thing.
okay, thank you.
You're
I'll try to read it.
Great, Ruth. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Nice. Question for you. Is this a commandment blessing? Is this a blessing that God commands us to do?
To say these words before we study Torah?
Correct.
I don't think so.
If you look, compare this blessing to Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Blessing over the wine.
Right, but here, there's a word in here that tells you that we are commanded to say this.
Oh,
Can you find that word? You
In
can
English?
cheat. You can cheat and look in the English. You can do it.
Instructed us.
Instructed us, right?
Go back a little bit.
No,
The
commanded.
mitzvah. Oh,
Mitzvah.
And
So there up here it's b'mitzvotav. So when you have the long version, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav. When you get to, if it has b'mitzvotav and it's long, it's a commandment. Versus Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen or hamotzi lechem min haaretz. So if it has the word mitzvah in it, we are commanded. And look, I didn't finish the English. It got cut off. Give me a second and I will fix that.
thank you. I didn't know that. That's nice to know.
Let me see if I copied it correctly and it just got, nope. I apologize. Somehow it got cut off.
The English?
Yeah.
have my Siddur hand.
Trying to get back there. So would someone like to read it? Did I share it? Nope, I'm not sharing my screen. That would make it a lot easier for you to see if I shared it. And now when I do this, it's going to take me back to the beginning. So I apologize if I'm making you dizzy by trying to get back to the page where we are. Would someone like to read it? Because I left off the word Torah at the end.
oh. Oh, I'll read it in English. You mean?
Sure.
Is that what you do? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who has provided us with a path to holiness through the observance of mitzvot and has instructed us to engage with Torah.
Thank you. So, any questions about la'asok b'divrei Torah? Good job. So the next blessings, everybody's going to take a turn doing, because you need to be able to do this if you're called up for an Aliyah. Some people are not comfortable being called up for an Aliyah, and that's okay. But if it's something that you are comfortable with, then it's something good to know. And I will tell you, the most common mistake is people forget to repeat a certain line. And it if I could see if it was a custom at one shul to do it one way and another custom at another shul, but it just, I know people are nervous. They get up there, they're getting an Aliyah for a B'nai Mitzvah or something, and then they forget or they didn't practice. So I always want you to look your best. So the person who starts with this line, and I can be honest with you that until I started teaching this class, I had no idea that this is the Baruch Hu. When you're getting ready to say the Baruch Hu, it's the exact same words, different tune. Never knew that before. You learn something new many days. So would someone like to start? Susan.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvara.
Good job. And the congregation would respond with this. Would someone like to read the congregation's part?
I will try.
Thank you, Terry.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Good. And now it's not telling you here. Oh, yes, it does. The person who is honored repeats the above response and then continues. Would someone else like to repeat it?
I will.
Okay, thanks, Holly.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Good job. Now the honoree continues. Do we have someone who would like to read the next part? Okay, Karen.
I'll do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Nice job. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend that we're honoree or a person having the Aliyah and the congregation. So I'd like for everybody to be able to do the different parts. Does anybody know are you familiar with the chant that you do? Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. And let's do this one together and then we'll take turns. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. So what?
Debbie,
Yeah.
would you read that middle line again? I heard something that I don't know. It was
All right.
right or wrong.
Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu
That
et
was it. Vinatan Lanu.
v'natan lanu.
Thank you.
All right. So would someone like to be the person having the Aliyah and another person be the response, which means just reading that second line?
I'll do the second line.
All right. We need someone to have the Aliyah.
I'll read.
All right, Carolyn.
So should I just start?
Yep, you start. Pretend you have the Aliyah.
Oh, Baruch atah Adonai.
No, you're up. You're the first line. Baruch Hu et Adonai.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvara Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bar banu.
Hold on, go back one word.
Banu mikol ha'amim.
Try that again. Ha
Mim.
ha'amim. There you go.
Ha'amim. Net
That's a vav.
Vanatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Wonderful. All right, we need another person to have the Aliyah and somebody else to do the response.
I'll do
I'm not gonna make you. It's a turn to practice. Holly, which would you like to do?
I'll read the Aliyah.
You'll
And
be the Aliyah. All right, Elaine, you gonna be the congregation? All
Yeah,
right.
Okay. Bohu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'chabanu mikol ha'amim. V'natalanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yasher Koach. Wonderful.
Very nice.
Would somebody else like to have the Aliyah?
I'll take the Aliyah.
All right, and who would like to be the congregation?
I'll try the congregation.
All right, Terry.
Baruch et Hamavorah.
Baruch Hamavorah. No. Baruch. Where am I starting?
Where it says the congregation responds.
Responds. Baruch Adonai Hamavorah Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Beautiful. Nice job. Would anybody else like to have the Aliyah blessing?
And when you get to the notain, you're supposed to lift up the Torah.
Correct. Well,
Stage directions.
yes, and we'll look at the English meaning in a minute. Would anybody else like to have the Aliyah blessing?
I'll try it, Debbie, but the third word on the second line of the
Banu.
Anu
Banu with a bet.
with a bet.
Isn't that a B?
Are you talking about the longer part, second line,
The
third word?
longer part.
Second line, third word.
Yes.
Asher Bahar Banu.
Bahar Banu. Okay.
You can do this.
I can try.
Would somebody like to be the congregation?
I'll be the congregation.
All right, Karen, you be the best congregation.
All right. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Leolam Va'ed. Baruch. See, I'm already messing up.
You got it, girl.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bar. I can't even read it now. Bachar or Banu ma.
It's a dot under the mem, so it says
Me.
Yep.
Me bal.
It's a kaf.
Mikal ha'amim.
Mm-hmm.
V'natan lanu et Torato.
Nice job. Keep going.
Baruch atah Adonai notan ha'amim. No.
Try those last two words again.
HaTorah.
Notain haTorah. Good
Notain.
job.
I wrote notain and I didn't say that. Okay, notain haTorah.
Very good. Ruth.
On the middle line, when you get to Mikol, the first mem has no dot and the second one does. What's that
Again,
about?
I don't know. We need to get Rabbi Ellen in here to give us the backstory on the dots. That's going to kill us if we don't learn about the dots. They just
Well-
said, don't worry about the dots, but I know we want to know about the dots.
I could just throw a guess out. So the first M is the beginning of a word, and then the other one with the dot is in the middle of a word. I don't know. I just
Well,
threw it out.
here's Rabbi Ellen's. I will read you her email when I asked her about the dots. If I still have it. She sends me a lot of emails, so I'm not seeing it at the moment, but she did respond to us about, I've got the one from the Baruch. I will find it when we're done here. I'm not seeing it on my phone. All right, is there anybody else who would like to do the Aliyah blessing? Okay, is anybody who wants to do practice the response? Okay, I'm going to skip ahead so we can learn what we were saying. When we say Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah, so would someone like to read that in English?
Praise Adonai, to whom all praise is directed. I thought it was all praise is due. At least that's the translation I've seen.
Yeah, each one is different. And then when we say Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah le'olam va'ed, Elaine, would you read the next one?
Praise Adonai to whom all praise is directed forever and ever.
Great. And then we repeat Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah le'olam va'ed. And the next part, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. So how about you, Elaine?
Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who has chosen us from among all peoples, giving us the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, who gives the Torah.
Nice. So it's all about getting the Torah and praising God.
I think most people say amen at the end of the,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Doesn't have the amens in there. Sometimes it does, but not here. And yes, let's go back and look, when you lift it up, when you say Baruch atah Adonai, lift the Torah mantle, noten haTorah. I don't know why that's done. It's not.
Do you actually lift the Torah? Because in our congregation, we don't, that I know
You
of.
just lift the scrolls that are right by you. So
Oh.
you're supposed to hold on to one of the Torah scrolls. When you're reading Torah, you're supposed to hold with your left and use the yod with your right. But as you're reading it, you're supposed to hold both of the scrolls, right down by your belly. And then when you say Baruch atah Adonai, you gently lift them a little bit, noten haTorah, and put them back. Now I have a friend who's left-handed. He will hold the Torah scroll with his left hand, with his right hand, and then use the yod and read with his left hand. So, however, whatever's good for you.
I do the same thing. I'm a
Do
left.
you?
Yeah.
So now, after you've read the Torah, you are honored when you say this blessing. Would someone like to give it a try? The last paragraph.
I will.
All right. Thank you, Holly.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam netapetochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Nice job, Holly. There's just one thing I want to point out. The fourth word on the second line.
Asher natan lanu Torah.
Yeah, see, there's a tet,
Yeah, I didn't see
a
Torah.
tav at the end. But if you go down to the next line, last word, it's haTorah without the tav,
Okay.
Torah.
Good.
So we'll figure out what that is. Would anybody like to try this?
To read it again?
Yeah, just giving you
Oh,
practice.
I'd like to try.
Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei
Yay, Vehaye.
Bahaye Olam. Nasok.
That's a ta, sorry, a ta, tet, after the nun. Na,
Na ta
uh-huh.
betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Very nice.
What's the last line on the second, last word on the second line again?
Betochenu.
Vetochenu?
Like ball.
Oh,
Betochenu.
Betochenu, okay.
You know, I have a question.
Yes,
On
Holly.
the middle line, where it says Bahaye, a lot of people in my congregation drop the yay. Is that
What do they say instead?
Baha'i Olam?
They're just not, they're running it together. Vehaye olam, but it's vehaye.
Okay.
Now, why we need the yud at the end of that, and why 2 words down we need the aid after nata, I don't know. I'm sure there's a very good reason. Just like sometimes you see words spelled in English, like, why do you need PH if you've got the F? So, you know, try to explain those rules to people. So I'm sure there's very good reasons.
Probably
anybody-
has something to do with grammar, you know?
I'm sure it does.
I'll give it a try.
Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat
Yep.
emet vehaye olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Lovely. Is there anybody else who would like to read?
I'll try it.
All right, Elaine, you go for it.
Well, the thing is that I'm finding from this class all the things I've done wrong all these years.
It's quite all right. And by the way, I forgot to ask, is it big enough or do you want me to make it bigger?
Fine, it's fine for me.
Okay. You know
But-
what? That's all part of learning.
Well, but it's the whole congregation that's done it wrong. I mean, I'm following along, and I taught Sunday school for years, and we did this, you know, whatever. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Beautiful.
Well,
You know,
I'm
we
trying
were reading.
not to sing it like I sing it and to actually read it. And that's been
Yeah.
a new experience for me from many years ago.
We went over a prayer last week or a week ago and I went, oh, I've never said it right. Like in the Shema, I can't remember what word it was. And my son said it. I'm like, what? I went back and looked and said, oh, I just, you know, you're a child, you hear it, you absorb it. And then when you look at it, it's how it's really spelled.
And when you teach Sunday school for 35 years, you hear it on Sunday morning. all the time.
Yep. It is true. Anybody else?
I'll do it.
All right, Karen.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tichenu Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
I have an Aliyah tomorrow. That's why
Good timing.
I know it, but this is great. Thank
Are
you.
you in person?
Yes, well, I'm in Florida too, so.
Right. Because we are not doing any blessings when on Torah reading on Zoom. So
Oh, okay.
nobody has an Aliyah. We
We
just have,
didn't in the beginning and now we are, but now we're hybrid now too.
Yeah,
I'm
we-
going to school
Yeah.
tomorrow in first time.
Yeah, only if you're vaccinated can you go.
Interesting,
Oh.
because our synagogue has flip-flopped. We're supposed to open May 15th, but it hasn't been actually voted on and announced. But they asked me to read Torah. But they are not requiring vaccination, which the RA said you can. But one of our pillars is that we are warm and welcoming. And it's hard to be warm and welcoming if you say you can only come if you have a mask. Karen, will you, and Susan, do you have to wear a mask?
Yes, we have
Yeah.
to wear a mask, and we're only allowing up to 50 people, and it's way, but 50 is way below 50%. 50 is like 5% of what we could hold, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow, that's a big congregation.
And
Certainly is.
we're requiring pre-registration, and not 5%, maybe it's 20%.
Yeah.
We're-
And
we're-
ours is only if you're vaccinated and it's pre-registration and you have to wear a mask. And there was one
Not
other thing.
requiring vaccines, but we are requiring people to have their temperature taken, answer the whole question list and all
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think 90% of our congregation are vaccinated, to be honest, from the people I know that have been coming on Zoom and everything.
It's just a really tough call. It's, what the leadership
Yeah.
feels, but
Yeah. They
Yeah.
thought about it long and hard, and they've been talking about it, I'd say, for a good 6 months. They've been planning,
Yeah.
and they're ready to just turn back to virtual at any moment in time if anything happens. So.
and we're actually talking about continuing a virtual component
Oh,
because,
we are too.
some
Definitely.
people argue that, well, people just won't want to come. They'll want to stay home in their pajamas. And I'm thinking, so what? They're connected. They're
Mhm.
on services. Who cares how they come?
What we're doing now is the same Zoom is available as well as the in-person if you pre-register. Then what they're now looking at, though, what we did for High Holy Days was live stream. And so now they're thinking, well, maybe instead of Zoom, they'll do live stream. We were set up to live stream before the pandemic anyway. We were about to start it anyhow. So
We were audio only, and then that didn't even work. But we're used to everything being on Zoom. And when the rabbi talks to you, he's right there in front of you. And it's not going to be that way anymore. And we bought all the equipment to do it, so we might as well use it.
right.
But it's not going to be that same intimate experience. But
It won't, live stream is not the same as Zoom.
right.
No.
But Karen, you are well prepared now, ma'am.
You're ready, Karen. I'm sure you're going to do great.
Is there anybody
Well,
else? Go ahead,
if
I'm
any-
sorry.
I just want, so now that we're doing this, if anyone wants to help me with my Haftorah too and go through it, that would be awesome. That I'm not doing until June though.
You've got
Oh.
lots of good time. And if you need help, just ask.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to read the final blessing before we read it in English?
I'll try it.
Okay, Susan,
Getting brave in my old age.
good for you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah. Oh, there goes my phone. Where was I? Torah emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Nice job. Anybody else? All right, let's see what it says in
On
English.
the other phone.
So the last paragraph. Who would like to read it?
I guess I'll read it. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who has chosen us from among all peoples, giving us the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, who gives the Torah. Now where's that
Wait,
discrepancy with the T?
I'm taking that back because it doesn't look like I have the whole thing.
Oh,
Because that's that part. I didn't have the whole thing there. Hold on.
Torah.
Yeah, let me go back. For some reason, I missed that. Give me a second. I'll bring it up. because I take it out of Lev Shalem.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you aren't here. Where did you go? Do I only have it in? It looks like I have the Hebrew. Where is the English? I do not have it, but I will read it out of the Siddur to you.
Sorry about that.
So, Baruch Atah Adonai, God, sovereign of time and space, who has given us a teaching of truth, planting eternal life in our midst. Baruch Atah Adonai, who gives us the Torah. So, let me screen share again. So, teaching, so Torah Emet is teaching of truth. And at the end, it is Torah. So Torah has the same meaning as teaching. So Torah Emet is the teaching of Torah versus HaTorah, the Torah. So sorry about that. I have to leave that out to go back and fix this slide. So I didn't include that English. All right. How are we feeling about Torah blessings? Feeling, I mean, you seem to all have read it before and know it.
Yeah, I think it was a good way to look at I mean, I've read it because I've read the transliteration, but reading the Hebrew is very helpful.
I think it's special.
And, you know,
Yeah.
I have a little bit of trouble with the chosen ones. That's really bothers me. Because I'm like, really practicing my Torah portion, I was chosen, but you know, whatever. I'm so used to reading Torah now on Zoom, you just pick up the piece of paper and read it. Now I actually have to learn the Torah portion. So next is Or Zarua, and took me forever to find it because we only do we only do the fourth line and the third line from the bottom. We don't do. So, and then, yep, in Lev Shalem, this is where it's from. So we don't even do where the little red caret is. So I don't know what you guys do.
When do you set, when is it Friday night or Saturday?
Friday night, yep.
What page is it, Debbie?
Good question.
I'm not even familiar with it at all.
I don't, this is
Yeah,
not
I'm not either.
great.
Is it something Spirit of Light or something? What is that?
Or yes, let me stop the share so that I can find out what page it is on.
And I know I printed it and now I can't find my printouts. I've got them all here. Oy.
I have to look at did I not send it to you?
No, you did send it.
You sent it,
And I
you
have
sent the whole thing.
it's not readily accessible in the printout here.
We need to skip this one for now. It's fine. It is on page 16 of Lev Shalem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we kind of gloss over that one. The rabbi starts on 5 and
Oh,
Yeah, and I really didn't learn it until till I joined the band. Because again, it was something that mumble, which I don't like about, I like to sing. But if you go down, and I couldn't highlight it because it's not a Word document, the fourth line from the bottom,
yeah.
Or Zerua, Lat Sadik, Ul Yishrei Lev Simcha. That's the only part that we're going to work on because it's got some very beautiful melodies. So
we sing it also, and I was expecting to hear the whole thing, and it just part, but I've sung several melodies. I think our cantor of blessed memory wrote the one that we sing regularly.
So after we read it, then we'll hear different versions. How's that? All right. Is anybody
My
willing?
rabbi does this silently. He does 14 and 15 and 16 silently.
Well, Susan, I don't go to Friday night services. I mostly go to Saturday. So I'm impressed that you know like which pages are which and who does what. That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right.
Me
Would
too.
anybody like to try reading Or Zeruach, those 2 lines?
I will.
All right. Thank you, Carol Ann.
I think I've heard it, but we never read this.
All right. So it's sight reading.
Or Zura,
Just take the Zayin. What's the vowel under that?
Zay,
It's a ah.
Zare, Zire,
Look at the sound under the resh. Those-
A.
They say ooh.
Ooh, oh, A. Ooh. Where am I now? Under the
So 4th line from the bottom. Or
Uh.
za ru.
Arzaru A.
It's ah.
Or Zarua la za doia.
Look at the vowel under the dalid.
I don't know
It's
that.
a dot. It's e. So it's la sa.
La zadiha.
Put the ka on the end.
La zadika.
Just la sadik.
La zadik.
Yeah.
Lishri.
You're right. Ul yishrei.
Lishre lach.
Look at real closely. Look at the dots under the lamed,
Lay.
and then put the ending on.
Lech.
Lev. It's a
Lave.
bet.
Lave. Shimo.
It's actually not a shin. It's a
It's
sin.
Si mech ka cha
You had it. Sima
sima ka
ha.
ka
Simacha.
sima ha.
Good. That's the only 2 lines we're doing. Or does anybody know what or means?
Light.
Light. Or zarua. Lot sadik. What's it sadik?
Wise
Righteous person.
Yeah.
Right? Ula yishrei lev. What's a lev? Everybody has a lev.
Heart.
Yes, heart.
Heart.
Simcha. Does that sound familiar? Simcha.
Joy.
Oh,
Doing
a joyous occasion.
right.
So I'm guessing it's light having to do with a wise person and a heart of joy.
A joyful heart.
Yeah. So let's go see what it says.
It is exactly that.
So it's right here, the first 2 lines of the last paragraph. Would someone like to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright.
So it's not l'simcha. They're using as upright, but
Right.
we got it. Light, a righteous person.
Mhm.
I guess joy, but I don't see heart in there. But it could be so many different interpretations
Joy.
of one word.
Joy could be heart.
Elaine, would first of all, would anybody else like to try to read it before we sing it? All
I'd like
right.
to try to read it. Or zarua la zadik ul ish ray lav ev
Lev, good.
simcha.
Good job. Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to try.
All right, go for it.
Orza Ruach La Adik
Say that one more time. Read that one more time.
La Adik
It's actually a zayin. So it's Z.
Lazadik.
Good job.
U. U. Lish. Ray.
Yes.
Lave. Simha.
Nice.
I have a question.
Yes, Ruth.
On the second word, how do you get that CH sound at the end? Or
Second word.
the second word,
Zarua.
is there an HCH? Because in the a name for this, it's called,
I know. I must have spelled it wrong or took it from something. It's just Orzarua.
like UA, not UAH.
Right.
UACH.
Zarua. Like Ruach, but without the Zarua.
Okay, thank you.
I have it
I
spelled
was-
wrong up there.
Okay.
Good catch. Good catch. Anybody else would like to read? All right, Elaine, you're up to sing it for us.
Thanks. Or Zaruach Lazadik Ulish Simcha. And then it goes on repeating and some more, but it
Can you
says-
do it in a round?
What?
Can they do it in a round?
We never have.
I'm wondering if you could. Is that the same thing that repeats all over again, or is there a
No, there's different harmonies and different
Yeah.
melodies.
beautiful?
Yeah.
So I've learned a couple. Or Zarua, Latzadi, Uyishre Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadi, or Yishre, or where am I? Ulishre Lev Simcha. Or Zaruach Latzadik Uyishre Lev Simcha. Ulishre Lev Simcha. Or Zaruach Latzadik Uyishre Lev Simcha. Uyishre Lev Simcha. And then I don't know if any of you have,
That one I sang as a child.
yeah.
I was part of a congregation, a conservative congregation. I grew up in conservative, and then when we moved here for a number of reasons, we joined a reform congregation. But that one, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Glad I could bring it back to you. I don't know if you've ever heard of Linda Horshorn. She writes a lot of music. So she came and was like a musician in residence with us, and hers, you can do this in a round. Or Zarua Latzadik, Uyishre Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik, Uyishre Lev Simcha.
Dik, Ulishre Simcha. I didn't look the. Yeah, that
So-
was a neat round.
We have a musician coming the 3 Wednesday nights in May. My rabbi's sponsoring a musical education program.
Is that going to be on Zoom, Susan? And can
Yes,
anybody?
I don't know if it's open to other than members, but I'll let you know.
Thank you.
And then there's one more that is, again, Yoel Sykes, the group that we seem to take a lot of his music. They start off singing, or Zaru Alat Sadiq, Zaru Alat Sadiq, or Zaru Alat Sadiq, Zaru Alat Sadiq, Uyiri Uli Ulayi Shrele Simcha, Uli Shrele Simcha, Uli Shrele Simcha, Uli Shrele Simcha. And then they keep building harmony onto that, which I never sing the melody. I'm always,
I don't think that would be one of my favorites.
no, okay. But if you look it up, forget that Yoel Sykes, he writes the music, and it's beautiful because it's with bongos and but I keep forgetting the name of the group, but he does a beautiful one. I don't do it justice because I don't sing the melody. So I'm going to end us a bit early because I have to leave to go out of town. We're going to pick up
Right.
my daughter in Pittsburgh and bring her home. We're moving her and then bringing her home for a week.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
And it's,
Nice.
no more coming home for the summer. We're done with that.
Is she graduating?
Oh,
No, she's just going to be a junior now.
Oh,
So next
wow.
week we'll work on Romamu, Sadiq Katamar, and we'll see how far we get. And then we are really zooming ahead. So one of the things they would like us to work on is Birkat Hamazon. We are currently discussing how much of that to work on. And they're saying, well, you could explain this, this, and this to them. And I said, well, first you have to explain it to me because I don't know what you're talking about. I've never led Birkat, but this is the time to learn. So we're going to decide how much time we have. But if there's something you want to learn other than Torah and Haftorah, because that's really beyond the scope of this class, but if there's something you want to learn, pop me an email and say, hey, could we do this? And then I can fit it in. I think it's important for you, if there's something you really want to learn, that we should look at that. So
Debbie, who was making these decisions? I thought that you as the teacher was deciding, and I have no complaint about what you've been covering at all, but you saying.
we have a committee, an education committee, headed by Julia Loeb and Ellen Bresnick. And so we had a sit down meeting about, what they used to use a book that I was really unimpressed with. And so we basically sat down and, what should you learn after the letters? And, it made sense to learn prayers that, the home prayers, Friday night, some Saturday morning. So they just, we made a whole giant list and I've been trying to have us go through them, but you guys really know your stuff. I mean, I don't normally ask everybody to read every prayer. I mean, if I had each one of you read the whole Vishamru, I think you'd be like
Still doing
going to
it.
sleep. But for this today, it worked out perfect. They were short and everybody could practice. So
Yeah, that was good, Debbie. It was a good way to
Yeah.
do it today.
yes,
Yeah,
Caroline.
thank you. Thank you.
Maybe we could use one class that we have left to just review what we've
Good
been
idea.
over.
That would be great, Carol. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And then we could just say, what would you like to review? And you can take turns reading different prayers.
Okay.